Well, Christmas is upon us again, and outside the people. There's really only one game I can think of set around Christmas time. That is Parasite Eve, released for the PlayStation 1 in 1997. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look. But first, Parasite Eve began its life as a science fiction novel written by Japanese pharmacologist and microbiologist Hideaki Senna in 1991. It was supposedly brought over to America in 2007, but an English translation is so rare as to be virtually non-existent. It was soon turned into a movie that you can find on YouTube, which isn't too bad. In 1997, shortly after Squaresoft came off of the success of Final Fantasy VII, they decided to create a new graphics engine for Final Fantasy VIII, thank God, because have you seen the Popeye arms on Cloud and Friends? But to test the graphics engine, they decided to make a new game to show off the new look they were going for. That game was Parasite Eve, which we Americans wouldn't see until a year after its release in 1998. This means that Parasite Eve is essentially a glorified tech demo spread across 2 discs, 3 if you count the demo disc that came with the demo Brave Fence with Sashi Bushido Blade and Final Fantasy VIII. Our story picks up on Christmas Eve, 1997.
We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Oh, bring us something important, oh, bring us something important, oh, bring us something important and bring it right here. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We won't know until we get some. We won't know until we get some. We won't know until we get some. So bring it right here. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We all like nothing important. We all like nothing important. We all like nothing important with all its good cheer. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare Him room. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and hell.
We meet our main character, NYPD Detective Aya Brea, as she begins a Christmas date at Carnegie Hall. The show is the debut of rising opera star Melissa Pierce in a leading role. Things seem to be going fine until she locks eyes with Aya, and then
I'm on fire!
and if you're wondering if this is part of the show, people just start spontaneously combusting, save for Aya and her dunce of a date, whom Aya throws to the floor and rushes up to the stage to confront Melissa, who starts calling herself Eve and attacks Aya. That's right, folks, our first fight in the game is with the big bad. During the fight, Eve awakens Aya's hidden powers called Parasite Energy. Anyone care to guess why? Well, guess I have to get all nerdy up in here. The major idea of this game, again going back to the original book, is that the mitochondria of a living organism's cell are their own living beings and have been living symbiotically with said living creatures for millions of years. For those of you who do not know, because you probably flunked biology class, mitochondria are essentially the power plants of a living organism's cells, allowing a living creature to create energy out of sugar and oxygen intake. It's a major function of normal metabolism and is necessary to maintain homeostasis, or a balance between all 11 major bodily systems. Hey, wake the fuck up, I know you all Aya follows Eve backstage where she mutates into this thing and escapes into the underground dressing room. Oh look, a rat. Did I accidentally put it? Thinking it probably wasn't a good idea to eat. Okay. I have to kill you now. You're just too ugly to let live. Take that. Jeez, what the fuck? Anyway, Aya chases Eve into the sewers where Eve sticks a leatherhead on her. I knew there were alligators in the sewers. This one has electricity powers. Damn! Aya goes back outside and is immediately bombarded by the media for being the only survivor of the fire. And if you're wondering about her date, well, what about him? Just as the questions are becoming too much...
Welcome! Punch!
Damn! Got a good 5 or 6...
This is Daniel, Aya's superior at the NYPD, who gives her a lift back to the precinct, thus ending the first day.
Yep. This game is separated into 5 days, with day 2 picking up.
Day 2 picks up with a press conference at the precinct where Aya, against the chief's wishes, spills the beans about the previous night. We also meet Daniel's son, Ben, who's about to go with his mom, divorced from Daniel because of course she is, to a show in Central Park. At least we're going to get something nice for this Christmas horror story. But first, Aya and Daniel have to go to the Museum of Natural History and meet up with Dr. Hans Clamp to get an even more technobabble explanation about Eve and mitochondria. Remember this place, we'll be back later. And so now, I'm pretty sure it's time for some safe Christmas fun in Central Park. Right?
Some shit's about to go down, boy. There's even another sewer level, which we're about to see.
And down it does go as Eve causes everyone in Central Park to mute into a giant puddle of orange goop. And it is disgustingly awesome. The boss fight follows shortly after, and holy shit! Are we fighting Eve on top of a flaming carriage? This is awesome! Aya wins the fight more like Eve decides she's had enough and leaves, but the exertion results in Aya losing consciousness. She wakes up a couple of hours later, having been brought to a safe house in the Soho district by Daniel and a Japanese man named Kunihiko Maeda, who provides an info dump about Eve's origins, essentially an abridged explanation of the original book. The next morning, our heroes pay Dr. Clamp another visit. They learn from him, with some additional input from Maeda, that Eve is looking to spawn a creature called the Ultimate Being. No, not that Ultimate Being, but in order to do that, she requires human semen, which she finds at St. Francis Hospital.
I would never have guessed.
That's right, the orange goop has seeped into the city's water supply. Not like there's anyone around to drink as the city's been evacuated. She goes back to the museum to meet with Dr. Clamp, but get this, he's evil!
Hey, would you guys believe we're already almost halfway done with this game? I'm not kidding, it really isn't that long. If you know what you're doing, you can beat it in about 8 to 10 hours. Yeah, it's about as long as South Park: The Stick of Truth.
All joking aside, Dr. Clamp engineers a special baby juice for Eve, but she lights his ass on fire and... Oh, look at that, we're fighting dinosaurs, including...
I'm a motherfucking T-Rex! I'm a motherfucking T-Rex! I'm a motherfucking T-Rex!
After... somehow... taking down the animated skeleton of a fucking Tyrannosaurus, Aya finds Eve with the Ultimate Being gestating inside her. Also, the military's here. Well, that was anticlimactic. Good thing Aya is immune to Eve's powers.
I guess you want me to explain that one too. Oh.
Time for backstory! About 15 years before the start of this story, Aya was involved in a car accident that took the life of her mother and sister and ruined one of Aya's eyes, specifically her eye's cornea. To save her eye, the doctors gave her a donated cornea that was actually harboring Eve's cells. Unbeknownst to Aya, her sister, named Maya, was also given a donated organ, but in this case, a donated liver, but that's for... Back to the story, it's not hard to find. Aya, with the help of the Navy, chases Eve to the top of the Statue of Liberty, where we have a boss battle.
The uncomfortable levels are off the charts. So,
We're not done quite yet. Eve's cells start to deteriorate as she gives birth to the ultimate being, and of course it's a multi-form boss. The final battle is on one of the Navy's ships, which Aya sets to blow, taking the thing with it.
What the fuck?
Let's not forget that this is one of those bosses that can only be beaten with an item you got earlier in the game. And no, I'm not talking about the one that random bits of junk you pick up through the game. Earlier, Mayada gave us a gun that, until now, has been useless. How do we get it for the final battle? Daniel free falls out of a helicopter to throw the gun to Aya, and despite starting to catch on fire from being so close to Eve, the motherfucker survives. So we defeated the ultimate being and saved the day. Can we enjoy Christmas now?
Well, no. It's not quite over.
Nothing is over!
Upon completing the game, we gain access to New Game Plus, which not only allows us to have access to all the weapons and stats we had at the end of the game, but it also gives us a new final dungeon, the Chrysler Building. It is 77 floors of gauntlets and arenas filled with some of the strongest enemies you'll encounter in the game, and a boss fight on every 10th floor. But hey, if you got this far, you can make it. Waiting for us at the top is Aya's thought-to-be-dead sister Maya, who is the host of the true mitochondria, Eve. We have to fight her to purge Eve from her body. With Maya, and by extension Eve, finally defeated, Aya leaves the Chrysler Building and the game is truly over. But since this is a video game, we have to talk about how to play it. Being an action RPG, you'll be gaining experience with every battle you win, eventually leveling up. There are also a number of items and weapons you can acquire, either finding them lying around or by winning them in battle. Unlike other Square games like Final Fantasy, you don't have a magic meter, but instead you have your Parasite energy, which may as well be a magic meter with a different name. It recharges over time after you use it, and you'll mostly be using it to heal, particularly in the fight with the damn dog at the police station. Speaking of fights, the battles, other than boss battles of course, are random, and you can move about the battlefield to avoid enemy attacks while you wait for your ATB meter to fill. The problem is some of the fights are in really tight areas, making it hard to maneuver without taking a hit. Which wouldn't be so bad if Aya's default running speed wasn't so fucking slow. When traveling from one place to another in the world map, all you have to do is select it and boom, you're there. It's sort of like Timmy's fast travel from South Park, The Stick of Truth. Once there, you're able to look around, talk to whatever NPCs are around, mostly police officers, but you can still pick up items and enter the dungeons. The music for the game was composed by Yoko Shimomura. I'm sure most of you are more familiar with her work on the Kingdom Hearts series or Chrono Trigger, so it might come off as a bit of a surprise to learn that she did the electronic sounding music for this game. It fits, yes, but I can't exactly hum any of it, and no, Eve's theme doesn't count as just a one-woman wail operatic sound. Watching the full motion videos, particularly the one showing the mutations, I must say I'm impressed. Some of them are quite horrifying and disgusting, though at times they look dated, but still pretty good for the generation standards, and for the most part they hold up to this day. You can find it and the other games in the series on the PlayStation Network for about $15, which is better than spending $80 for a physical copy.
Yes, I've said other games in this series. You see, there were two other games, Parasite Eve 2, released in 2001 for the PS1, which is what happens when Square tries to make Resident Evil, and The Third Birthday, released for the PlayStation Portable in 2011, which I have no idea. Never played it. But with that said, I think I did a good job ruining Christmas. So I'll see you all next year. Merry Christmas, folks, and